Yo! Video games.
Okay.
Hey! We just got back from
Pokemon.
another video game movie.
Yes.
Another. Wait, what was the first one?
I don't think we've.
Have we not seen a
That's
video
like-
game movie in a long time? I think I meant to say another anime movie.
It's everything. It's an anime.
everything.
It's a video game movie.
Yeah.
A card game movie.
Yeah, a game card
Technically,
game movie.
roughly, yeah.
All of it.
I saw Rampage. That was the last one I saw.
Oh,
was a
I
video
did.
game.
That
That's
was a
very
video
true.
game movie. Yes,
Beanie.
it was.
Then he's a
Sit down.
Pokemon.
It was.
Sit down.
He used bark.
Give me Benny.
There you go.
So, yeah, we saw Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and it was So I guess we'll just start off with
Initial
general
rough.
impressions. I'm familiar with Pokemon Generation 1,
Yeah.
at least, and I know I was never a huge fan, but it was one of those shows that was just on TV,
Yeah.
and you could watch. It was just easy to consume and watch because it was upbeat and it was just there. So it wasn't something like, oh, I'm going to change the channel.
Yeah, it's like, oh, right.
It was like, oh, and I've tried the Game Boy game, so
Same.
I don't feel that this movie requires you to be a Pokemon fan in order to appreciate things. It takes a lot of plot points from the first movie.
You'll see it. You'll be a little lost. I think.
Little bit.
I think if you're completely unfamiliar with the material.
Yeah, but it's
There'll
not
be some
that.
things that'll be like, what the
But
hell?
who is that? That's people that might be 50 to 60.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe?
It's got to be 50 to 60.
Well, I was thinking there was a point where they're they just mention something's name without really giving a lot of explanation for it, and then it does the thing that it's famous for, and then it's well, I can see where someone might be a little bit like, what?
Yeah, but it's got that sort of mysticism of just a very fantastical world about it, and its characters and what it happens in. It's that, okay, this is normal for all the people in this world.
Yeah.
It is completely alien for us.
Yes.
And they do a good job at that.
Yeah,
the world feels believable.
Yeah, it's not. I guess I should clarify. It's not that you'll be lost in the film. I think some people might just be a little bit like, I get what it does because I see what it does, but it's just it's more exciting per se.
Yeah, I'd say
if you're a fan of the Pokemon and you see a Pokemon you like.
I'd say being a fan helps.
Yeah, it helps where it's you see it do the thing it's famous for, and you're like, that's really cool. Some people not. For me, anything that's not Generation 1.
Yeah.
Shit doing stuff that's not in Generation 1 and not in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
So
I'm
exactly.
oh, that's a thing, I guess. Or there's times where something like waltz by and be like, I don't know what the hell that is.
Well, there's a lot of waltzing. There's a lot of George Lucas 1990s Star Wars remake, and he's just going in and just trying to stick a Pokemon in every single shot anywhere. And I get it; they're intertwined in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, spoiler free. I thought it was okay. Just in terms of a movie, I don't think you needed to be completely Pokemon, a Pokemon enthusiast to be able to identify whether or not the movie is super good or not. And I think it'll enhance the movie for some people. But I think the person I really want to get the opinion on is the one person in this room that has had the most experience with Pokemon.
Pikachu!
Because she has watched more of it in the past few weeks than I have ever seen. JJ, you've been watching a lot of Pokemon on Twitch.
Yeah, I have been.
So what did you think of the movie?
It was very slow paced. I hate to admit that. It was very slow. It was really fun and interesting to see Pokemon's moves.
Yeah.
When they fight and everything, and they do their moves, especially Greninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greninja's a cool
I
character.
love
He's in the
water
trailers.
shirt
He's in the trailers.
Is he in the trailer?
Oh yeah,
He was
pretty
in the
much
trailer.
every Pokemon is in the
every
trailers.
Pokemon was in the trailers. I was just, it's just really cool to see the diversity.
Yeah.
Bulbasaur's my favorite. So when that came on screen, I was like,
Yeah, I think there was a single. Oh, my Pokemon is
Benny, come
angry.
here.
My Pokemon is
Benny,
angry.
come here. Stop.
Here, Pokeball. They can-
Stop.
Only Jessica. Only you can master Benny's Pokemon.
Stop.
Yeah, well, JJ's higher level, and she has all the badges. You don't have the badge yet.
JJ's a gym leader.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I completely agree with Jessica. There's the movie's okay. I don't think it. I think it definitely. To me, it feels like it has the story. It actually feels like they hit on several story beats that make you kind of care in some situations, which is good. They have these fun little and cool moments between the Pokemon and their engagements, and a lot of riffing and a lot of topical humor from the result of Detective Pikachu. And it's just at some point between all of it happening, it doesn't come together. It's like they made bread with no yeast, you know?
A little bit.
And it's like I want to say the movie is slow, but at times I feel things are moving way too fast, and I can't find out and I have both of those grievances with the film. So, and I think you were touching on it. It feels like at one point we were kind of falling asleep.
I
looked at each other. We were really like yawning and like.
I went to go get a soda to I need some energy.
I was kind of waiting if it would pick up pace and pick up, and I'm all okay, all right. It's just the way they
the story isn't bad, but they do a lot of explanation.
I think that's what it is. They
unnecessary,
a little slightly unnecessary.
Yeah, and I feel that is in the way to sort of
there are a couple moments where I'm like, they do expository stuff. They do flashbacks. I'm like, oh, you don't need a flashback. I get it.
I already picked up on this.
I was like, I got it. You don't need to. I guess
the flashbacks.
Someone will need it.
Stop. The flashbacks were the thing that was kind of gripping me. Stop.
Benny's always trying to engage in a Pokemon battle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isn't he use Angry Bite against Pikachu's Rolling Thunder? I don't know what the fuck he does.
Rolling Start.
Rolling Start.
That was another thing. I wish Pikachu did more moves.
Yeah, you don't get to... Pikachu really doesn't do much.
Yeah, the budget went to him talking.
Yeah, it did, but then, I understand why he was talking, and it kind of explains that in the movie.
Yeah.
So that... And I understand why he really couldn't use moves.
Yeah.
So, it kind of explains it at the end.
Well, it's in the trailer that Pikachu has amnesia.
Yeah.
But the whole of him talking, that's one of the high points, is Ryan Reynolds is really good.
And I think, Ryan Reynolds as a voice actor in this movie does a pretty damn good job.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about Danny DeVito and the points that they were trying to stick.
Yeah.
I think it would have been funny for, a skit. Like a short 3 to 5 minute skit would have been funny, but for a hour and a half.
I kind of felt the opposite a little bit. I kept thinking this would have been a lot funnier actually with Danny DeVito. I'm sticking to that because Ryan Reynolds didn't really seem to do much. Here's my thing was he was his acting was fine, but he didn't add anything. It specifically being Ryan Reynolds.
He added the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool-y kind of
he
topical humor.
He every so often they kind of let him slide it in, but it was almost all ADR lines, things that were he was off screen. You didn't.
Oh yeah.
So
the apartment line.
Yeah, some of his best lines were totally ADR'd after the fact. So it was kind of I was in there man, he's not. I mean, so it's kind of you can't expect Ryan Reynolds to always be super Deadpool, fourth wall breaking all the time. Right?
Yeah,
he doesn't really break the fourth wall, but it's just kind of
but
that.
They do inject a lot of that super topical humor.
They do that with there. But I was I wasn't really feeling Ryan Reynolds. This almost. I don't know. I feel it could have been any sort of A-list celebrity at this point.
Maybe.
I think he did a good.
It wasn't oh my god, he is always.
Was it a situation where he was one of the reasons that the movie kind of got made as well? Because I was kind of getting that impression that he was a big.
He
has a bit more commanding power after Deadpool.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say this with the whole story. It probably, because of the story, I can see why it wasn't Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Without going into spoilers.
I think
it's the ending that what did it.
I think we all can agree that we all kind of like the movie, but we think it definitely is a little snoozer at some points.
Oh yeah,
it's fun, but it's not incredible. I don't think it beats Mortal Kombat 1. In terms of video game movies.
Okay, yeah, that's
when people are talking about the video game movie curse, this is good.
It's pretty good,
but it's not great.
Yeah, it's definitely not a curse. It's actual pretty damn decent effort, and it has a lot of fan service.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it'll make a lot of people happy.
That's one thing. I think this
it's on the upper echelon of game movies.
Because I'm like you guys, the whole Pokemon craze. I was just getting a little too old. I was.
I never jumped into it.
Yeah,
I was a little couple years too old.
It was a couple years too old, but then I was I'm like, what the hell is this so crazy about? So then I'm I had a game.
I tried
Pokemon
Blue. Red or Blue.
Because I'm Blue's my favorite color. I'm hey, this is a cool game. This is fun.
I remember,
but I never really did anything.
I remember my reaction. This game is grindy as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, how much experience am I getting? Holy shit!
So I've beaten Blue and I beat Gold or Silver. Recently I beat Gold Silver last year. Yeah. Last year because I was doing a little run up to Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
So I beat Gold and Silver and I played a tiny bit of Black and White.
Yeah. I played a little bit with my.
So it's I know how the first two games. I know how they work and operate, and I know most of them, and I was pretty heavily into Blue. But my thing was like my Pokemon fandom literally died with Blue.
Yeah.
Because when they introduced Gold and Silver, it was like, you start over. You pick one of the starters.
No!
And I'm like,
Right?
no!
Exactly. And I think I was at that age. I'm like,
Like,
this
I don't
is
wanna-
dumb.
yeah, like, I don't
Why
wanna
am I
do-
doing the same thing over and over
Yeah, I was
again?
like, I don't want to do all that shit again. It took me ages to get through everything. No!
And like, I think that's why it died with me. It's not like I hated it. It's just like, literally, I was at that age. I'm like, hey, what other game does that? I mean, like, even though technically Final Fantasy, but it was a different story, a different
Pokemon
thing.
is not story driven.
Yeah, it's not story driven, really. It kinda,
Not really.
Yeah.
You go to each area, you fight a big bad guy, and then you keep going.
Yeah.
That's
it's
kind of
really-
true, but then
yeah.
there was like this, when I booted up Pokemon Black for like a preview, it was like this weirdly like story-driven, weird, legendary cutscene experience at the starting. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a lot different. It's like, for example, on the same hardware, you had Link's Awakening, a very heavily story-driven game, and then you also have Pokemon, both games that rely on sort of similar progression and kind of grindy elements in some situations, but one is actually focusing on story, and one is focusing on, there's 101 Pokemon, 150 Pokemon,
Yeah.
you gotta catch them all, asshole.
Yeah.
Like, good luck.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
But, like, I think, too, like, this is going to appeal from people from 7 to 35.
Well, that's the thing, is that, like,
Yeah, it's like
35.
For
anyone,
7:35.
this is like the
Yeah.
equivalent of like Transformers or G.I. Joe to us, like
Almost, yeah.
to a shit ton of people. Like people like grew up with Pokemon, like it has been a part of their life.
Oh, no,
forever.
yeah.
I
I
think
think-
it's more faithful.
Yes.
Say,
Yeah.
to Pokemon fans who
Oh,
were
yeah.
7 in
Yeah.
'98,
Yeah.
then
I think that's what they're going for.
Transformers
Yes.
was to the Transformers fans.
Yeah.
It's
There you
more
go.
faithful.
I agree.
So then-
it's more faithful to its fandom
So
than
that's what-
Transformers
yeah.
was.
We have at least enough understanding of Pokemon. We're like, we've all probably seen the first movie. We all watched Ash die. Spoilers.
Oh.
We've all seen that stuff, and it's like, oh, the Pokemon movie is actually pretty decent. Like, it's not that bad.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible,
Like,
and it ties into the story and everything well. And I
There's
remember
good fan
enjoying
service,
it.
yeah.
And then this movie specifically is going after people that grew up with that shit.
Yeah.
Like it is trying to target them
Because
because
I was, we all bought tickets, so we were all kind of spread apart. But I was with some other people, and they're like, "Oh,
it's like, oh,
they were like-
evolution."
yeah, they were
you know?
geeking
That's
out
what I was
over it.
doing.
So
That's
you were
what I
so
was-
you were kind of
yeah.
more around super fans.
I was more around
with
super
I was
fans.
with two guys trying to get laid really hard. So I was like,
They were trying to get laid with each other.
well, they were like, it was obvious like the guy was like not really into it, and he's like, I'm taking my girlfriend here.
Oh.
'cause it's
I
cute."
thought it was a guy and another guy.
Because I saw two guys. I'm
They were
like,
trying to lay
they're
hard
trying
No,
to-
no,
into
no,
each
no,
other.
no. It was a guy like two. It was a guy and a girl on each side. Like I had to
Oh.
move one because
So they
the
could
one
sit?
guy didn't figure it out. His seat.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. So
Yeah, I
I
saw
said,
that.
and basically,
Yeah, I
like
saw
the
that
guys
too.
were just kind of like,
Dude,
No.
I thought it was two guys trying to lay each other so hard. It was like putting positive magnets together. and they
Yeah,
were just like
right?
repelling.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
yeah. Well, I think I literally think one of the couples got bored,
Wow.
and she literally just like laid down and fell asleep.
Wow.
like
Yeah,
See, I'm telling you,
leaning
like,
on her
that
Well,
games.
it really
That
is
happened.
a fan service because you want to see people want to see the interaction with the Pokemon with real life people.
And that's
Like
what's
that-
like,
and
the
you
coolest
get
part of the
that. You
movie.
get
Yeah, you do get that. That's what people wanted. And then I was kind of fangasming like when I saw Bulbasaur,
Yeah.
and I loved it when all the other characters did their moves and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, and it just like
You know what
whisper
I
under my
mean? Be
breath.
thinking?
Oh, that's that Pokemon, or
Yeah.
like you would just say the Pokemon's name under your breath while
Yeah.
watching
Me being
it.
just like, I was like, where are all these things shitting?
That was what I thought. That was my thought when I got to
Every
the city.
single person.
When we get to the city, I'm like, how fucked is
I
that
think
city with
Pokemon just
shit
don't
everywhere?
shit.
Right?
They're just a magical creature that
Yeah,
has
they're
Especially the
just
ones
shit.
that were flying around.
Yeah, right? The
Well, they
flying
fart.
birds and the monkeys.
But they pee.
The pee.
And they
Pikachu
fart.
said he pees.
And he said he
Oh,
farted.
yeah,
And
he
he said he
did.
farted.
Fart joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he farted.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
It was a fart
man,
joke.
where are all these things shitting, dude?
Yeah.
Like, these things are flying. There's
So,
monkeys
all right.
here.
All right, so it's an okay movie. It's a good matinee.
Yeah, it's a good
It's an okay movie.
It's a,
Pretty,
yeah.
pretty.
And I
pretty
would
faithful
actually
to its
say,
source.
if you're a big Pokemon fan,
Yeah.
you're already seeing this. You've already
Yeah.
seen
you
it.
already,
Like,
you already
Exactly.
saw it.
and I recommend you go see it. So, spoiler territory.
Spoiler.
Here we go.
The movie is Zootopia. It's pretty much like it takes the
It's
plot of Zootopia. There's these like creatures that are sort of like feral in some way, which Pokemon kind of are, and they're aggressive.
Oh.
And they inject this like MacGuffin that makes them all super angry
Are-
and What's that?
R.
Yeah, well, they call it R. Like,
Cereal
but it's,
R.
I
And
call-
I kept thinking it was going to lead to Rocket.
Rocket.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm waiting for it. And like,
I think
was like, what
that
is
was
it,
the
R?
implication. They just
Is
never
that-
I
said.
guess, but there was no
That-
Team Rocket, and I was
okay,
like,
so-
fuck.
Like, speaking of
It
fan
was just called
service,
Cereal
I
R.
would have liked to have seen some stuff
Some
like
Team
that.
Rocket shit.
Some Team Rocket stuff
Yeah.
in the world, or even Ash or something like that. They did sing the theme song, which was people.
Funny moment with the theme song.
Yeah,
That was just like a funny moment.
but I wanted to see some Team Rocket
But
stuff.
they really have like this blue serum that turns
Yeah.
all the Pokemon crazy.
Team Skull, almost.
And there's that looming threat. But yeah, like I think the overall way of like the way the mystery resolves itself, because you have a movie to compare this to. It's Zootopia.
Yeah.
Like if you want
Yeah.
a movie that is literally the same thing about animals living in a city where they are mysteriously coexisting with like
predators and prey coexisting.
people and Pokemon.
It's people and
So this is
Pokemon
Pokemon
instead of
Predators
Plot
and Prey.
twist,
They're
like,
predators and
oh,
prey.
this person's
and then
doing it
and
because
then
of
and
this.
then there's a twist that there's a MacGuffin item that makes them go crazy, and they have to figure out where it comes from. But in Zootopia, it's done really well. Like the progression and lead up to events and why things are the way they are. There's a reason why Zootopia is super good.
Yeah.
It's because it's just really good, effective, and engaging storytelling.
There's one thing in particular which I think really nails home your point about it's Zootopia but Zootopia did it better, and that is the main character. And for the first half or third or half of the movie, the main character's really not likable in
Not really.
this.
No.
And he's kind of written to be that way, and then he has
Yeah.
like that moment where he realizes he's being a shit.
But it's not that satisfying.
It's not satisfying
It's
because
not.
like the problem
Yeah.
is because they dragged it out too
Yes,
long.
it
Yeah.
was too long
Of
of an
him being a
explanation.
shit. Of
It
him
should have
being-
happened in the first quarter of the movie instead of 3/4 in.
Yes.
Yeah, so-
because by then you're like, oh, this guy's been a shit the whole time. I don't even care.
He's been a shit the whole time, and like they do have that sort of like he has his redemption. He admits he was being a dick,
Yeah.
which is nice. But see, he's like with Judy Hopps in Zootopia, you like her from the
Because
beginning.
she wants to do the right thing the whole
you know,
time.
Yeah.
you feel for her, you like her, she's a good character. Then you kind of realize, with her kind of where
Yeah.
she stumbled
Her
a bit.
plight and why
Yeah.
she's too ambitious and why
Yeah,
and she gets shot down like everyone that hasn't been she's super relatable.
yeah.
The main male character in the film isn't really relatable. The only relation is that he's lost a loved one and he's sort of like going through a grieving process, but the loved one that he lost he doesn't even like. Like he actually doesn't really like his father, and he
Yeah.
actually has a
And
moment.
didn't have a relation. He says it from the beginning. Like we
Yeah,
just
says it
kinda-
from the
Because
beginning.
he said
falling
when
out.
he was 10, so like he was turning 21 in the movie. Because of the 21 birthday card. So it's been like 11 years since he's seen his dad.
So, but they
Yeah.
don't really touch up on like why that relationship is more effective, other than the fact that the mom is dying and
Yeah.
it separated them.
And that's the thing that he said he blamed him for it.
Right.
I don't
Did you just
know.
say that? Like he.
Yeah, there was like
something
something where
Well,
like
he
his
blamed him
dad
because,
was
like, he
more
left.
devoted to his work than he was to
devoted
raising
his
him.
work, but he like blamed him for something. Like he
Well, yeah, this is where it gets all kind of confusing
Yeah,
and
because
weird
then-
because you don't really pick up on this even when you're watching the movie.
Yeah, because like his mom, and then you're like, he's the only guy who doesn't have a Pokemon partner. I'm like, why doesn't he have a Pokemon partner? Is it dad? And now he's like this press kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a Pokemon
They
partner.
kinda
I thought
brush
it was
on
like
it.
a Pokemon killed his mom
Well,
or something.
yeah,
but,
that would have been more
God, that's
intriguing.
even more
but I don't know.
darker.
Like,
That
why
would've
does
been very
he have
dark.
like a Pokemon partner?
That's almost as dark as lighting
See,
a Mr. Mime
See,
on
that
fire.
would have been better
Yeah.
for relationship wise
Yeah.
because that's
It
why he
would've.
didn't want a relationship with a Pokemon.
It would, because they don't really touch why he does it. Because they said, I wanted to be a Pokemon. They say in the trailer too. I wanted to be a master one day. Then his mom died when he was 10. He went to go live with his grandma, and he decided not to live with his dad. But why does he hate Pokemon?
The reason he hates Pokemon, explained in the movie, is because his
yes.
dad leaves for the city and his
Yeah.
profession was nothing but Pokemon, so he felt like the Pokemon were sort of taking his
Right,
place.
I get that, but it's just kind of like his whole like
Sure.
standoffish. Like I went from loving these things to hating these things because
Yeah, because
my
it's like-
dad started working.
He
with them.
felt like his dad, the Pokemon stole his father.
I guess so.
Yeah, and
I guess
well,
that's the
and
implication.
And
but
that's
it's,
the reason, but it's not effective.
No.
it feels kind of weak.
And it feels like
Yeah, definitely
there,
weak.
it is a reason, but you don't feel like empathy for the character. They
Yeah.
don't give you a reason to feel that
Because
empathy.
like the movie opens with literally his best, like not his best friend, just a friend of his.
Yeah,
It's a good moment.
yeah.
It's a good one who's trying to be a friend. He's like, I'm concerned with you. You're like
You're lonely. You need a
cooped
Pokemon
up.
partner. You sell insurance.
Yeah, you don't do anything, and he's just kind of like he blows off his friend. And then he goes to see his dad because he gets the thing. Oh, your dad died,
Right.
and then like he's blowing off his dad. Everyone had contact with his dad, and he's just kind of a dick to everybody.
So then, like in that town he was in, nobody had Pokemon partners though.
Well, that was because the special town is like Zootopia.
Yeah, like
Pokemon and people live
exactly.
together.
Yeah,
you have a partner, but you can probably keep him in the Pokeball.
Which I thought was exactly the reason they wrote out two things. One, they knew they had to have Pokemon around.
Yeah, all times.
So they came up with this
Visually.
plot excuse for Pokemon all walking around the city. And then two was they didn't want to delve too hard into Pokemon battles. Because, everyone always says Pokemon's glorified cockfighting.
Yeah.
Which it kind of is.
Yeah.
So
they give excuses they love to fight.
Yeah, so they do this thing where it's like, okay, well, he's going to be in this area of the world where no one bottles up their Pokemon and no one fights with their Pokemon. They all live together in harmony, so we don't have to really
I think that's smart.
The Pokemon fighting each other too much issue, which I think will be the one kind of disappointment for Pokemon fans is that they don't fight a lot in the movie.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Like,
That's the thing. None of the really Pokemon really showed any moves.
There's one guy that's like gym leader-ish.
Yeah.
But he's like, he leads a club that is an underground club that is doing Pokemon battling.
But when
I like the Loudred. The Loudred are funny.
I didn't even know what those were. I was just like the base Pokemon.
the big.
Yeah, the
Pokemon. The Pokemon and their habits and their mannerisms are awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that Pokemon look better than they ever fucking have looked.
The Lickitung? Oh my god.
Lickitun's
that
great.
was scary.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, when they do battle, it's actually cool.
It's actually
really cool.
Like the guys I was next to the super fans, they're like, "Oh, he's doing Shadow Clone or something like that." The
Shadow Ball.
Yeah, with
Gengar did Shadow Ball.
So they were like,
you get very little of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a scene in the middle of the movie where they show an underground Pokemon ring because it's illegal in that
It's
city.
illegal to fight
So
Pokemon.
they have a little tiny snippet of a moment where like Pokemon are battling, and then even at the end, like they kind of don't. Like there's a little bit of a throwdown at the end, kind of,
Not really.
but not really.
They don't
And then,
really
then
show
I thought it was hilarious how the movie devolves into fucking Batman.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy.
Batman 89. I
It
forgot.
literally turns into Batman 89 where I'm
And
going to
he's
unleash
just
my
there-
gas on
He's
everybody.
like, you have the gas and the balloons, and I'm just, those are my balloons.
I was
like immediately like,
I'm
really?
like,
We're going Batman?
I was honestly thinking of when the Prince music's going to kick in. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hubba, 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 who do you?
God damn it! Yeah, I was
Hootie.
about Batman 89.
Yeah, that's what I first thought too. I was like, oh my god.
It's a
this is
Batman?
Batman.
We're ending this with the Batman
Yeah.
plot line? Okay, cool, I guess.
But yeah, so overall, like some story elements, it has heart and story in some moments. It
Yeah.
just, like I said, it's like it has the cool Pokemon thing. It's got an engaging setting, which is different than Pokemon. It's got them looking weird. All their mannerisms are cool. All these things are really neat. But just like you don't have any yeast in the dough, like it just kind of falls flat when nothing's holding it to rise up.
I think a lot of that comes to the fact that the scripts for a detective movie is for kids, so it's not a big deal. It's kind of predictable.
Yeah.
You fucking feel the 3-act structure hard. You kind of see where things are going, like kind of way ahead of it, of the characters.
A little bit.
Yeah, and the other thing too is kind of like the writing and acting is both. I don't know how to say, but then flat because characters are like hard extremes of what they are. Like our main character is a loner who pushes people away, so he's gonna do it real fucking hard for the first half of the movie. Yeah. And then you have like that plucky go-getter news reporter girl, and she is going to be plucky go-getter news girl reporter girl. I'm gonna get the story hard, and she works for a boss who's a super dick, the biggest like irredeemable dick of all kind of thing, and. Like they try to do the twist with like the benevolent not Giovanni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel Pikachu and Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, they try to fit in a bit too much humor. They try to overstuff it at times where it's just like
because all those like I was saying like 80R lines.
Right, exactly. I feel like
You're talking really fast.
We're gonna make Pikachu 90% jokes. Only 10% of them are going to be actually kind of funny. Nothing Pikachu says make you go ah.
It was like giggle here, giggle.
It was like,
that's cute.
And none of them are super effective.
Yeah. You know your Pokemon. Pokemon.
Like
Pikachu
Slowcat right there.
Pikachu used joke. Wasn't very effective.
It wasn't very effective. Sorry, it wasn't very effective.
That's probably that was kind of my problem. Like, what is Ryan Reynolds adding to this other than AS? But getting to the super mega spoilers, yeah, there's a reason.
There's a good reason.
At the end, at the very end, you're like,
oh, and that's why
this is why
it wouldn't work.
Like, this is why Danny DeVito wouldn't work.
And this is
hey,
why
my
Danny...
son.
Hey,
yeah.
great grandpa.
Yeah, right. Great grandpa.
So,
and he's like tiny, like
super spoilers.
Hello, black son. I love you.
His hair's so crazy,
right?
Super spoilers. In the end, like the soul of people get transferred to Pokemon through the powers of Mewtwo, and the main character's dad is transferred into the heart of Detective Pikachu, the body of Detective Pikachu, which is why you can communicate with it.
Now that led to things that kind of like one thing that kind of drove me nuts a little bit, where it's like at the end, I'm sitting there like, his voice isn't any different when he's back in his human form, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, how did you not know that was your dad's voice? His voice didn't change at all. I'm like, I get it. It's been 11 years.
It's probably been 11
I'm like,
years.
okay, I guess it's been 11
Yeah, I
years.
see what you mean.
But I'm like, he didn't pick up on it at fucking all.
That's
kind of true.
Because they didn't mask his voice or do anything to it.
That is a good point.
You would be freaked out if a Pokemon just started talking.
Sure, but then eventually I would have been like, he sounds an awful lot like
I've known
Dad.
my father for 10 years. You should, at least
I'm like,
let's say
yeah.
5 years. Like from 5 to 10, you would know what your dad sounds like.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty damn important thing for a child. You wouldn't forget what your parents sound
Plus,
like.
he probably called him, left him voice messages and shit like that. So, because I was like, you didn't. I'm like, wait, so you didn't pick up on it because his voice.
That is a good point.
His voice is completely the same.
Either way, like it's still a really good moment that
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds actually makes an appearance in the movie as himself, as like the 40-something father of the 20-year-old sleeping boy.
Do you think the gray hairs were added or just like?
I think they're trying to make him a little bit older.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you think those were added?
They tried to make him late 40s, like early 50s.
Because the kid's pretty like
Kid's
over
just-
20.
kid's 21.
Yeah.
He's 21.
So like,
So they make it like he was like 20 years old and he had a kid.
Yeah.
And so I mean it was believable. It was like, whoa, they're doing this. Whoa, I guess so. That's actually kind of sweet. Like that they actually found a spot for him in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is why Danny DeVito ultimately wouldn't work.
Hey, my
It's why I'm like, hey, great grandpa.
So did Pikachu regain his memory after?
I think
he saw
so.
Mewtwo?
Well,
I think
it was a little
It wasn't
confusing.
Pikachu.
It
was never
wasn't
Pikachu.
It was never Pikachu,
yeah,
right?
It was always his dad.
So when he said like, "Oh, I know who I am now. I'm the one who caused this."
It's him.
But
It's him looking at it and thinking he knows who he is because he thinks he's the Pikachu still because he doesn't have any fucking memories.
You mean
So it's like technically he didn't.
The part where
believe-
Pikachu leaves.
yeah, when he leaves, he thinks that he betrayed Harry.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't really regain.
He didn't have his
He
memory
saw the
back.
memory because he's like, oh.
He
because
saw the
was-
hologram.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
he
he
was
said,
being
"I did
controlled by
that.
Mewtwo.
I
Like
did
he's like
that."
Mewtwo's
Like,
like,
you know.
oh.
Yeah. That's like the
But-
low point where he thinks he's a bad guy, and he does what his dad, which also is like really foreshadowed. Like his dad pushes people away, Pikachu pushes people away. Hello, it's the same person. So I guess that's where all the foreshadowing goes in there. So yeah, there was that, but there was also a weird kind of like super plot convenience where like Mewtwo puts the soul of the person into a Pokemon, and their entire body disappears.
Yeah.
Except for fucking Bill Nighy.
And except for everybody in the end.
Yeah.
Everybody in the end. Their bodies are just hanging out, right?
No,
Oh,
they all
yeah,
disappear.
They all disappear.
When he puts their bodies in,
except for the main villain.
except for the main villain. Why? Because we needed to have a brain thing for
Because
him
he has
to
a helmet
pull,
thing.
he had to pull the thing off the guy
Yeah.
Mewtwo's head. Like it wasn't
You're
like
right.
when he went into Mewtwo's body, he was like, okay, now make my body disappear so that I can't possibly have
Yeah,
this thing,
exactly.
removed
Yeah.
from me. So I was like, okay, that's weird that he makes the whole body disappear through movie magic.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, but except for the main character, because we needed to have
Except for the bad guy.
we needed to have a thing so he could
Because that
pull
would
the
have
thing
been
off his
tough
head.
to pull
and,
it off, as you know.
Yeah, we
Well, yeah, he
needed
can't-
we
yeah,
needed
he
to
can't-
have him do that thing
Well,
so that he could be
technically,
defeated.
he actually can't make himself disappear into Mewtwo
I
fully.
guess, but
Because
he
of
made
the fact
everyone
that-
else's bodies completely disappear.
Well, yeah, because he's Mewtwo. I mean, in the beginning, that's what Mewtwo did with Pikachu.
Yeah, I was just like, this is kind of a plot
So-
convenience that
Yeah.
he doesn't make the old guy's body disappear into
That's because
himself.
only Mewtwo can do it, but he wasn't
I guess
Mewtwo.
he
so,
can't
like,
do it to himself.
He kind of
Yeah,
took the
maybe that.
technology.
It's like Mewtwo.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest, Mewtwo's a weird ass Pokemon.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
probably a bunch of dumbass rules that you could write in.
It
for
was
any
just,
reason.
I was just like, okay, I when it was happening, I'm like, okay, I guess the plot convenience is he needs to keep the old guy there so he can pull the thing off at the end.
Yeah.
Like that was what I mean, like you can kind of see the movie 2 steps ahead of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, once he starts
Yeah.
doing that, oh, okay, he
You
has a
can
thing on
kind
his head,
of,
he has to go
and
pull
that's
thing
the
off.
part where you get a little bit of the A little bit.
But the only
It's like you're
twist-
just waiting for him to pull the thing off.
The only twist was the ditto. That threw.
Yeah.
That one was
a lot of fun.
The ditto
That
moment
one was
really
fun.
cool.
That one was like. Ah.
There's fun moments in the film. It's just like, and some of the acting's pretty good. Some of the emotional moments, I think, are actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Some of them, and there's a lot of it that just it doesn't quite work as well as it should on a storytelling, joke telling.
It just doesn't come together.
Yeah, it doesn't all come together.
It's like having what is the line that the Hobbit has about
butter scraped over too much
it's
bread.
it's like having butter scraped over too much bread.
Well, I don't think it has that problem of like it like the Hobbit problem where it's like it went on way too long.
No. I'm just saying that analogy.
Like they had a cool idea and they tried to really stretch and make it work, and that doesn't always do it. I think I thought the movie looked good visually. I will say this, like you could tell it didn't quite have, say, Avengers style budget.
Oh, yeah, I know for sure.
Because like all the Pokemon look pretty CG and pretty
Yeah.
weightless. Like there's a moment where he goes to catch Pikachu and it's like, yeah, there's fucking nothing there.
Yeah.
Like he,
I think-
Or even holding him when
Yeah.
he was injured.
yeah,
It
it's
was
just kind of like he's
a
just
little-
kind of doing this.
I think
like,
the biggest aggregate of this is Mewtwo in general. Like there's some shots of Mewtwo which are fine, but like a lot of the end shots where he's like talking a lot.
Yeah.
and emoting, and it just looks very cartoony.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
And I don't think it's a bad thing, but I kind of wish they would have extended that more because this film looks like it was like shot on like location in Scotland or something like that. Like
a lot of those shots, yeah.
yeah, like the opening town and then like the outskirts of the city, whatever. It's
That
just
same stuff where they shot that Bond movie.
yeah, Skyfall,
Skyfall.
Scotland. So I'm like, it's kind of got this weird like hyper realistic like brown dead thing. I almost kind of wish they would have maybe gone full fucking nuts with it and gone super animated with the backgrounds, where even if it was all fucking CG,
What?
the
You
whole
want
thing.
Speed Racer?
Yes.
All right.
So
Tell me
was-
I'm wrong.
So was Harry a double agent at the beginning?
Right. There is okay. So
He was supposed to find Mewtwo.
There is kind of a
Yeah,
confusing
he was
plot point.
he was working for not Team Rocket, and then
Oh yeah, he was working for the bad guy. Or
when he
whatever.
realized, because he was looking for R. The whole point was he says like, I had to do it because your father discovered my doctor was the one creating the R serum, so like I had to have him killed off. So he told his Pikachu to short circuit his tank, and that's why the Greninjas went out and tried to kill the dad. And then Mewtwo was freed. Was like,
that shit is all very confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
of
more confused.
why the dad's motives are the way they are, being like
He
a
was-
police
'cause he was-
detective
'cause
to
he was-
being hired by the R company.
So
to
the whole
being-
point was that he was undercover. He was getting in good with them because he wanted to figure out where the fuck.
that wasn't.
He's
really
like, where's
explained
this
very well.
R serum coming from? So he's getting in
No.
good with this guy. Then he discovers where the R serum's coming from. It's coming from Mewtwo.
Yeah, the
So
guy
he
kind of
wants-
explained it at the end.
Yeah.
The evil guy kind of explained it at the end.
But there's so much of that in the movie where they're just like explaining shit, and I am checking the fuck out.
Yeah.
It was like a lot. Yeah.
Like I am.
Yeah, no,
I am
his,
checking out. I was looking at it
his
like-
dad wanted to figure out what the thing was that was causing the Pokemon to go bad. So he got in good with the bad guys.
Yeah, he
and then when he
Mr.
found
Mime for the
yeah,
information.
and then
yeah.
when he found out what it was, he then was like, oh, I got to save this Pokemon, but I got to do it discreetly. So he had his Pikachu.
And then
that's-
the girl was just there just because she wanted a story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she
that's
wants to
and
be a
that's
news
ultimately
reporter.
what a lot of the movie boils down to is that a lot of the connective tissue elements of the story just aren't really there. And even though when you go see a movie, if the movie's engaging the whole time, it's engaging the whole time. You don't sit there and sort
Yeah.
of leave the screen and you're like,
Oh yeah.
I'm in a movie theater right now. Do
Yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom or anything? Should I get a refill on this? I wonder
Yeah.
what time it is. That movie has at that point failed to engage you.
Yes.
And that happens sometimes. Like I don't usually go see movies like that. I usually kind of focus on seeing movies that don't do that. But sometimes you go see an Ant-Man and the Wasp, and you're just like, I wonder what time it is.
Well, see, that's kind of the comparison I'm making in this
Doesn't
film.
make
This is
sense.
like seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp after Infinity War. Like,
yeah.
going from Endgame to Detective Pikachu is like, it's a lot like watching Ant-Man and the Wasp after Infinity War.
It's a little rough, yeah. And I think
It's not bad. It's okay.
And that's
It's
not the problem with like after coming off of a movie like Endgame.
yeah.
And that's kind of like the post-Endgame blues, where Endgame is so
Yeah.
emotionally engaging and
Yeah.
has such great character
so-
development and everything ties together so well that it's like you kind of hope every movie is kind of like that. But and it makes you realize how fucking wonderful of filmmaking Endgame actually is. Like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
difficult you realize how difficult it is to actually make movies good. Like it's the thing where you're not supposed to realize this on the surface level. You're supposed to be your brain that's realizing it. That's what makes it so effective. And it's like that's the shit that makes things engaging. And unfortunately, some of that falls apart with the Detective Pikachu. But it's still fun. It's still an engaging, fun movie. Jessica has had enough.
Yeah, well, I heard a weird doggy sound.
Yeah, she heard Benny going, wah.
It was like,
She heard Benny wah.
And, but yeah, I would highly recommend you go see it if you're a Pokemon fan.
Yes.
I would actually recommend if you're like a video game fan in general, you could go see it. It's
a good matinee.
Matinee.
Yeah, probably you don't want to.
If it's a deal, like, you know, full.
I
Like,
feel this is as comparable to Pokemon fans as someone that would be an Alien and Predator fan to go see Alien versus Predator. Right?
Yeah.
Right? There's enough
Yeah.
fan servicey and stuff where it's effective, but it just doesn't really hold
You'll
together.
enjoy it. You'll enjoy it, but it's not going to blow your dick off.
It's not gonna bust your ass.
You're gonna be like, ha ha, cool, look
Yeah.
it, you know.
Hey.
You'll be doing some moments like that.
I think that was the one big thing that kind of bummed me out about the movie. It wasn't fucking hype. It didn't,
Okay.
it didn't have
Yeah.
these great hype moments. Because like the first, and to his credit, I'm not trying to say the first Pokemon movie is great, but like Pokemon, the first movie starts with like this really hype ass thing where like Ash and like, well, first has like the way too long
The battle,
backstory.
right?
It has a way too long a backstory about Mewtwo, but whatever. When you see Ash and everyone, they're on that cliff, you know, getting ready for lunch, and this guy comes in, he's like, let's battle! And like it butts like, yeah, there's like this big all upbeat song, and they're like, they just go right into a Pokemon battle. This guy throws out like 30 Pokemon, and then like
80 Pokemon!
he does, and like he throws out like 30 Pokemon.
Battle
And then Pikachu does like this Omega big blast, and blasts all his Pokemon at once.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, cool Pokemon, I'm fucking hyped, yeah!
That's kind of true.
Like, there's not this moment, and like when Mewtwo sends all his like evil like Pokemon to clones to fight, and there's like the big battle, and like, oh god, what's gonna fucking?
I
It
thought
doesn't-
Mew was gonna show up.
Yeah, I was kind of
Yeah,
expecting
they
to
never
show up. So
talked
like
about Mew
that was
at
my
all.
only like
Yeah.
real kind of bummer is that like they stayed away from trying to make it too, I don't know, Michael Bay too over. You know, like they wanted to like they
when
kind of
I saw
wanted to like.
Detective
It is.
Pikachu, I kind of knew what I was going to get into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
It's
Detective Pikachu.
Detective
And you were
Pikachu.
going to
It's
be
it
a
is
detective
not.
around the world of Pokemon.
Yeah, you are
not really getting into the world. You're just
Yeah.
walking around it and kind of seeing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're on a ride or the theme
Yeah.
park.
Yes.
Yeah, like listen to the title.
Yeah.
So, like,
Right?
what was the point of him being in Mewtwo's body? It was because he could live longer,
So he
right?
could have the proper
Because he was in a
evolution.
wheelchair because he couldn't
Yeah.
move.
He wanted to evolve.
But then
He wanted
he,
to evolve.
yeah,
He wanted to
but he
evolve like
wanted
Pokemon.
everyone else to.
Yeah, he had like that super
Right.
cliche, like
Yeah.
villainous, like you know, the world will evolve with me.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
then I thought, okay, the only way to stop it is
It's
like
very
if
anime.
everyone were,
It's
were
very
Pokemon,
anime.
Yeah.
then why doesn't all the Pokemon kind of go against him?
Yeah, you get the main
You know?
bad guy that is like, I am Mewtwo! Everyone gets the gift of turning into Pokemon!
Yeah.
And then random Joe Schlo, like Mike Sislak downstairs, gets turned into a fucking Dodrio or something. He's like, ah! No!
Yeah, 'cause I'm thinking, how those poor people, they're probably like, fuck!
Yeah.
No, a Psyduck! Ah!
Because literally, that's what I would turn into. I'd turn into a Psyduck.
Get headaches
Sigh.
all the time.
Yeah. Oh,
you
dude,
know?
I get headaches, and he's my favorite. Dude, we connect on a
But the thing,
spiritual bond.
I really thought all the Pokemon were just gonna gather and kind of be all pissed off and say, "Hey, why'd you turn?"
Yeah, yeah.
And, like,
Ooh,
just-
Yeah.
that would have
and
been
doing an
cool.
all-out
And then they
attack
start
at Mewtwo?
fighting.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Mewtwo has to like try to
that'd be
blow them away. Yeah,
Yeah,
that actually
and
would have
then-
been kind of interesting.
She just,
Yeah,
she
and
just
then
came
have
up
a
with
whole
a
bunch
good
of
movie.
fighting.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Well, he's
the-
still trying to
that's
get
more
to
satisfying
trying to get to
Yeah.
the guy to take the headset off because that's the
Oh,
only way.
yeah, and
But
Mewtwo's
they
like fighting them
don't
all.
want to show Pokemon beating each other up
Yeah.
too
No.
much in this movie.
Even though
I mean,
that's
they
what
really
it's about.
didn't want to
Especially
do
Ninja
that.
Turtle 2, the movie.
You don't want to. You want to see cute Pokemon fighting like cute Pokemon.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
No,
And okay, yes, the
yeah.
reporter did say that. She's like, because she was a reporter for cute
Yeah.
Pokemon and trying to find the cutest,
Yeah.
and it's like they're all cute.
Yeah.
You know, like she
Right?
couldn't really
That's like
find a
Ninja
good
Turtles
story.
2 were like, we don't want the Ninja Turtles using their weapons and fighting. And so they were like using sausages.
yeah.
Ninja Turtles 2, they
Wow.
hardly ever fought.
Oh yeah, because it got all kinds of backlash.
Because
for
it
the
got
first movie.
backlash because it
Really?
was violent.
Kids
I
So
didn't
they
even see
wanted
the
to
movie.
Forks and shit.
yeah, nunchucks and shit like that.
Fellow chucker.
Yeah. So literally in the second one, they hardly do. And
Yeah,
it's-
that's why I've said The Secret of the Ooze is not a good movie. It's actually kind of terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what makes you want?
I watched it, like I was super jazzed to see it in theaters as a kid, but guess what? I
Yeah.
saw it
That
recently
shit-
and I'm like, that's not good.
That shit makes you want pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret of the Ooze makes you want pizza.
It slices, it dices, it comes in 3 different sizes.
There's a pizza glorification porn. All right, we're
Right.
done. That was Pokemon. Go see it
Pokemon!
if you choose. I choose you to see it. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah.